Hi, Feda. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to introduce you to my audience and to interested viewers. This is Feda Shtia. She's the CEO and founder of Sunono Publishing, which focuses on children's literature and specifically Arabic language children's books, although I think there've been some translations as well, which we'll hear about. But I'm just really excited to share because I think this needs a really big lens and spotlight, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. So I want to start from the beginning, and I want Feda, I would love you to sort of tell us a little bit about yourself. You grew up in the UAE, and you founded your own publishing company, and I've been publishing Arabic language books ever since, and more as well. So I'm really excited to hear your story and your journey from I think from Palestine all the way to Scotland. So yeah, please do share a little bit about yourself before we dive in.
Thank you so much, Bijal, for having me and giving me this opportunity to introduce myself and be part of your amazing, successful career and your very wonderful, exciting book coming up. So I am so thrilled to be here and to have this opportunity. So, as you said, my name is Feda Shtia, and I was born in UAE in Abu Dhabi to two parents who were born in Palestine. They exiled into Jordan, so I am as well proudly Palestinian Jordanian. And so I'm a second generation refugee. And I realized as growing up that you relate to a country or to a nation by the way you've been raised up. So I realized when I went to university to Jordan to study Arabic literature that my accent is more Palestinian than Jordanian. The way I spice my cuisine, the side dish you eat with certain food, you start to realize that you have inherited that. So it's a beautiful feeling to discover as an adult that certain things you do are basically because you were originally from Palestine.
Yeah.
So although I never visited, I never been there, but yeah, so and
Wow.
of course yeah,
Yeah.
I was lucky to be raised up in UAE in the time where United Arabic is growing so fast.
Yeah, very
So we
exciting
had,
time. Yeah.
yeah, all the exposure
Yeah.
for the modern stuff, how to be on the top of the chart.
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting because I mean, your story reminds me of my story a little bit because I was Indian but born in A Africa, and so I'm very rooted in Indian traditions with with cuisine, with just our values, how we treat people, like just everything, and so it's interesting the parallels that I feel like I can draw, I can really relate to what you're saying, in terms of bringing that Palestinian identity with you wherever you go, and that will still always be your home even though you've never really lived or been there. So that's quite fascinating to hear. um and of course the UAE, Jordan, like they're all such hubs now for productivity, and I wonder if that's kind of what led you down this, that gave you exposure to books and led you down this whole publishing route that you've gone down, and then obviously landed in Scotland now.
Yes, I think UAE was because it was a growing country, and I witnessed all these changes that you see before and after Sheikh Zayed Road and things like that. So it was like the hub for incubator programs, accelerating business. You always will find an opportunity to join. And my opportunity is that I was working as an Arabic teacher, and I was teaching Arabic as a first language and as a second language. And I think that made my English grow as a part of the demand for the job for communication. And this is when I found myself finding the balance between me being rooted in the Arabic culture and then, having to deliver it to an expat.
Yeah.
And then the idea started formulating in my head. I don't want the children to just learn vocabularies randomly. I don't want them to hate Arabic. I don't want them to not have a chance to read a nice a storybook.
Yeah.
And I wanted to write curriculum based in stories. And I was growing in my career. I was like a head of department for two schools, boys
Oh
section,
wow.
girls section. So yeah, I was like going like, wow, I'm doing well, and I was really proud of that.
Yeah.
But still, I always felt this let down when I find that my children are not really accelerating with the years they spend in the system learning the language, but not able to communicate or handle a conversation, or when they come and join UAE at 10 years old and they have to start with alphabets and the only books they can access is like board books and things that meant for toddlers and it
It
won't
it was
resonate with
thinking
them. Yeah. So
space.
they were not something for Arabic as second language, especially story book style. So I created this curriculum and I decided I'm gonna quit teaching and just do this. So I can show you my very first project. So it was very ambitious. I wanted to make 150 stories in 10 different levels with three sub levels in each one. Like it is wonderful. The project is still going. So I made the books like they can color it to feel it's personalized. It's your book. You can write notes on it. You can write the meaning in English if you felt you
Oh,
need
it's so
to.
lovely. I think that's
So yeah,
so nice to
and
see that.
very simple
Yeah.
text, but still a 10-year-old can have this book. You won't feel like a baby, of Fenta's intelligence to be done. So like, and we tried to make the illustration like caricaturic and a little
Yeah.
bit. So
So nice to
and
put that journaling element in, right? Like all
mm,
the reading. Because I think readers always get more out of the book that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we did glossary, Arabic and English. We did some scenes from Dubai. We wanted the children
I
to be able to
I love
to
it.
talk about their activities or how they chat with their family online.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was like really ambitious, really spot on,
Yeah.
especially the environment it was created in, like
Yes.
being in Dubai around lots of expats.
Yes.
But in the middle of this, which was like supposed to be focused academic publishing,
Yeah.
like level story, we were having a plan that every couple of years we will launch, like we'll grow with the levels with our audience. That was the aim
Yeah.
to gradually do the 150. So far, I think we've done 22 so far
Hmm.
of this because of the dynamic of the publishing house. I had to move in the middle of that to Scotland because I'm married to a Scotsman,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the business for him changed, so I had to go to Scotland, and it was a different place. There's not as such a demand for that style of publication. I'm sure there are people who would like to learn Arabic, or there are some Arabic families, but it will never match the scale and the audience. And I didn't have the networking, so I thought, I need to change the concept.
Yeah.
I can't just deliver this style of academic books. So this is when Sunono came.
Right. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. And that was and that's wonderful because it's bringing a new kind of type of children's books in that middle school space, right? Where teenagers or young adults can also interact with the literature. Is that right? So it's some of you.
Yes, that was the aim for the first academic style level reading books. But when I came to Scotland, I felt I can't just base my whole publishing on this. There's no
Right.
demand,
Yeah.
enough demand for it. and I needed to relate to where I am. Like when I related to Dubai as a hub for expats who learning Arabic, I need to relate to Scotland as there's a lot of encouragement for diversity and people who are from different origin and uh, are Scottish. So I thought I should grab into this and change the concept a bit. So I chose Sununu. Sununu is the swallow bird. It's a migrating bird. It goes back to its nesting during the spring season
Oh,
and during the, warm season. So it's international.
yeah.
It's like me,
That's very
away from
symbolic.
home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like birds, like, and I thought, lots of successful publisher got birds into their logo or their names, like penguin, puffin,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
uh,
Oh, sorry.
so
Yeah. Nosy Crow.
so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Nosy Crow. I adore Nosy Crow, and I have a story to tell you
Often
about
duck.
Nosy Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah.
it was.
I think there's something
Yes, I always felt a
like,
bird,
given wings to fly, and I think that's just so symbolic for children. This literature's giving them the wings to kind of learn and leverage and move forward and do amazing things with words, guiding.
Yes, yes.
So,
And I don't know if have a picture of a clear logo, like we have the logo here, just to show that even the swallow bird is
oh,
like he's in a circle, but he's breaking through,
oh,
So there's so many ways to
hell, yeah,
think.
that's wonderful.
So of how we see the birds, and our slogan is travel through stories. So
Yeah.
we had to bring another concept as our publication will be in two different editions, one Arabic, one English.
Okay.
So
Got
when
both
we
versions.
start, we
You've got
start.
Arabic and then the English translation. Is that right?
Exactly. So we start with the Arabic book, like here, for example, this is the Arabic
Version.
edition, and then and we translate it to English. Um, Mostly we do it in-house, either I translate or our team. So they mirror image each other, and we think they're cool to see them like that. And we thought. Arabic children who can access the language can access it directly by reading the Arabic text, and Arabic children who can't access the Arabic script, they can read it in English and relate to
And
some
so
cultural elements, some values,
I almost
and
feel
then
translated books are sometimes a completely different book in some ways. They probably still have the same substance, but the interpretation
mm,
and when you read books in different languages, you have a different reading experience, and that's always quite interesting. And I don't know if there's anything that sort of stood out for you, in
I,
nuance.
yeah, I think it depends on the book itself or the script. So if it was very Jordanian, for example, like one title is it had an international value of entrepreneurship. This book, and this is I think this is our English and Macedonian and Turkish. So we
Wow.
we we were so lucky. This is a very popular title, like, and the illustration is stunning. So the children really love it.
Yeah.
Like it has a bit of a element of Western illustration, but in an Arabic setting. So
Yeah.
and I think children who are gonna read this in any language, they will feel excited because they learned something about the Jordanian streets and some cuisines and the smell of the coffee and the adhan and and Fridays,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
today, and the prayers, like when I felt when I heard the church bells as well, especially when I go to Lebanon and Jordan, we have the church bell. It's something part of the culture, but in UAE, I did not have that around.
right.
I
Okay.
only, when I went back to study in university in Jordan, I started to like, oh, cool. Now you can explore different customs.
So nice, isn't it? There's
So yeah, so I think
um,
it's
Slight
It's
difference.
not a totally different story when it's translated, sorry for the interruption, but it tries to bring the concept in a way that appeals to the audience who are reading in
Yeah.
different language.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what a good translation to, and we were very lucky. We had Marcia Corley doing the translation for us. She's brilliant. She's like a star. So she did grab the heart of the story
Oh,
and the humor, and she made it brilliant, really brilliant.
ah,
No literal translation, because she could understand the joke in Arabic and
yeah.
she knew how to deliver it in her own language. So it was so cool to work with her.
Yeah, I know. I think so much of it makes a difference in terms of the translator. And, I've had my own books translated, and, um, I can pick up I can tell that the translation's been good because there's been so much resonance and so many fans and readers reaching out that you just know, like, that translation's been really good. For example, I think the books really resonated in Turkey and Portugal, and kudos to the translators. But also, look, I think translation's a really difficult skill, and I think anybody who can bring in both languages and do justice to it, to the heart of the story, is should totally be celebrated because it's really not easy to do. And we forget that language is just a social construct. It's not something that we've always had, and there are moments where one language will have the words and another won't, and it's like, how do you still bring that effect out, that you want from the reader? So it is such a skill, and it's nice that you're able to work with them and you know, do this for Arabic literature and bring that soul to to readers. So it's wonderful. And I mean, where do you stock your books? Is it all online, or where can readers get them?
So they can buy them online through our website, sunono.scot, of course, Scot for Scotland.
Yes.
And we work with an amazing distributor as well for B2B. He's looking after our stock, Saltway, Chris Macmillan. He's
Oh, okay.
also doing an amazing job for us, handling especially Gaza book.
Yeah. And
So
I'd love to
we're
get
very lucky.
stories for my children because I think they would really enjoy reading them.
Thank you. And
Um,
we'd love to hear your opinion, of course,
yeah,
and see how we can do better.
yeah. I mean, out of all the titles that you've written, I mean, which one do you think has a really therapeutic element to it? Of course, my platform is all about bibliotherapy, and I'd love to
Mm,
write some books that, I mean, I think most books can be seen as bibliotherapy anyway.
yes,
Um, and are there any that you would recommend from your titles that are particularly uh
yes.
impactful?
I think I'll have three titles that's so dear to my heart. And I do see where they can link with bibliotherapy. The number 25, this book, from age 8 up, because it teaches, or it makes you solve your problems internally. Like you can find a solution within the very limited limitation you have. You can still find a solution. It's a story of entrepreneurship. It's about these children, how they manage to overcome the financial challenges
Yeah,
without having to ask for people to help them. They needed someone, one little push to help them to start, and then after that they thrived. So I think this makes people look at their own challenges and think
yeah,
um, we could do something. So that's why this book is great for that. The other book is Zero Maybe More. And I think it's also a great story for the younger ones. So
yeah,
like 6 years old, it's you start from the numbers and how the zero found out that he has no value. He was born to find out that his value is nothing. Basically, zero means nothing as a mathematical concept, and he thought like oh, I have a family of numbers and I must try to compete and race and grow up so I can show them that I
I love
fit
that
in.
title. I love the
So
book.
it is really cool. So then at the end, after racing everybody, and because he was racing, he was always standing on the left side of the numbers, so their value never changed until when he felt like, oh, I just like I've been faster than number nine, and I nothing has happened. So he sat next to number one and he like patting it and say, it's okay, buddy. I know what does it mean to be the smallest, because number one is always the smallest. And they merged and they become number 10. And that was the changing point. And then Zero realized that he doesn't need to compete with anybody. Yes, he's Zero, he's nothing, but he is very valuable if he's in the right place for
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
where he needs to be. And then the celebration, I'll just leave it
It
to for
reminds me of
readers to enjoy
the
the rest of it.
amazing. It reminds me of the transformation of like butterflies, like from these
Yes,
little
yes.
cocoons into these, incredible insects and beings. And so you're like with wings and and it's
Mm,
the same, it's that's transformation and thinking out of the box and what can we do together? And oh, there's so many themes for children to explore in that book, which is wonderful.
yes.
Yeah.
And find themselves, you need to
Yeah.
find your own self
Identity. Yeah.
and your own identity and be proud of it and cheer it and so on. And
Yeah.
the third book will be Gaza I Spy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very different project than what we normally do. It's of course it came out of need, the need of to do something to
Yeah.
kind of contribute and not just sit and do nothing and ignore what's happening and
Yeah.
carry on doing children's books. It was difficult. It was such a hard 2 years. And then I've seen my colleagues, publisher, doing stunning books, picture books, chapter books about a girl who lives in Gaza or a child who's into war zone, and they are all beautiful. And I felt like I still wanted to do something different. I felt I can't do fiction anymore. I need a nonfiction. And I wanted a nonfiction to be told through art. And I thought photography is an amazing way to express art in a silence that is so loud and a pause that is so active and so, bombard.
Yeah.
I felt that photography is what's gonna satisfy me. And so I made a photography book
Yeah.
um, about the children of Gaza during this period.
Such
Um,
a great idea. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, because it sort of embeds the permanence of what's happened and it's not just forgotten, you know.
yeah,
And it's bringing their story to life. And a picture says 1,000 words. So I think it's a wonderful way to bring everyone's stories and what they've had to endure and just allow other people a bit of a lens into what might have happened there. Um,
yeah.
I think it's wonderful. And is that for children and adults, or is it just for children or
To be honest with you, I think it's mainly for adults because it's in a coffee table
yeah.
format.
Yeah.
Um, I think children, like they should be 12 and up to be able to understand this in in a way that won't disturb them, because they will ask questions. And I remember as a child, flicking through a photography book when I was with my dad who was visiting his friend who was a journalist, and all the photography were from Somalia. And at that time, there were a horrible famine and there were a horrible fights, and these pictures stayed in my brain when I was maybe 10 years old, and I
Yeah.
can never forget them. And I think this is good. It made me feel uncomfortable, but it made me ask questions, It didn't give me nightmares, but it kept these questions and and made me think in a deeper way of food and water and struggles.
Yes, absolutely. And also, you're almost being a guardian of the truth, in many ways, and documenting the truth and actually what's happening. And I think, that is the role of books to some degree. They do even fiction to some degree. They give you the license to tell the truth. Um, I So books do give you the license to tell you the truth, and I think it's so nice that you've brought it in the way that you have, in a way that's true to yourself as well. Your story of Somalia and the picture books and the war there, and it kind of reminds me of the war in South Sudan at the moment as well, which is being called the Forgotten War. But I think all of these conflict-filled places, I think books are a really powerful way to bring people's stories to life and to readers. And I think you've done a fantastic job with the making it a coffee table book. I think, what was your thinking behind that?
Okay, I was thinking of a passionate, ambitious person rather than a publisher who wants to make money or know the logistics of things. Of course, I did invest in knowing these logistics, but I still took the decision to go wild and crazy. And I said to myself, okay, I'm breaking rules here, right? And the publishing, how you should do a certain format. But then I thought, what is the beauty of being an independent publisher? If you follow every single rule, I thought I can break some rules. So
Yes.
one of the rules was that, or the things that made it so challenging by coming up with this idea is that style of production normally is for fancy things, jewelry, fashion, traveling books for rich people, Formula One, if sport, watches. And I was so devastated because when I started studying the format of decent photography books, and books for cause and things like that, I often found that these books are being produced within a budget because they have a very small market for them or a niche collectors who will buy them. And I was so angry because I said, I am not making my book about Gaza in a cost effective way because these people, these children deserve the best. I want to weigh them with gold. I wanted
Yeah.
to show them in the best way, and I thought, why not a luxurious premium edition? Why not a coffee table book? Because a coffee table book is something that you see straight away when you come into somebody's nice lounge or hall.
Yes.
It's on the middle or the center of the room. A
Uh,
coffee table book should bring people together for
yeah.
conversation, for drinking coffee, for discussing a hot topic, agree, disagree, argue, debate. And that's not what these fancy coffee table book doing now. It's like a flicking through a fancy, nice a magazine looking at models and
Yeah.
I felt like how dare they turn a book into just something like a concept of a coffee table, to become just something you flick through when you're bored and waiting for maybe a meeting and
Yeah. It's not really being read or kind of taken in or
yes,
even.
yes. So, and
Yeah.
that's where you think, oh, you're breaking the rule because
Ah,
this coffee table book should be just for people to flick through and not to think a lot. And I'm saying, no, it's the other way around. It should be bringing people together to discussion. So, as
beautiful.
you can see, it's a very heavy book.
Yes.
and we
Yeah,
made it
I love the
really.
hardcover and you can feel
Thank
like it's
you.
probably quite a wonderful texture to
Yes.
feel and
So it's linen.
oh,
It's made of
isn't it?
linen. Yeah.
That's
And that's why linen needs a special ink, a silk ink, to be able to print on it.
yeah.
And then we did all the debossing, the foiling, and we worked with an amazing artist who created this logo for us. It
Watermelon? Is
resembles, sorry?
that a watermelon?
It does, exactly. Well done. So good guess. And we wanted it to show the watermelon, but like disguise it a little bit.
Yes.
So it looks like a watermelon burst into two halves, and then these are the seeds that will bring the children to carry on the legacy.
Oh, that is
And
so nice. What a lovely,
yeah,
kind of story. So much
and
symbolism.
we called it, yeah, we called it Gaza I Spy, because we didn't want to say Gaza city or Gaza territory or Gaza war or Gaza anything. We wanted to say Gaza children. And the word I spy is like inspired by these, pocket books that you say, I spy garden. So you take what you've seen in the garden, or I spy
For the game,
museum.
I still play it with my kids.
Exactly. I spy with my little eye. So we kind of,
It's so thoughtful, right? Like every detail
yeah,
is taken care of. Yeah.
we kind of making fun again of the industry. Like you have these as a game, but it's a very serious topic. And then it's um it's also to say we nearly spying on the truth because of all the restrictions the media has been having over the
Yeah.
Palestinian content, and as well, we also being ironic. What would these children see around them now in Gaza if they're gonna play this game now around them, all the rubble? But we did not want to present children with, oh, feel sorry for the children in Gaza or look sad or have the
Yeah.
miserable feeling. They need no pity, and as a child grow up as knowing I'm a Palestinian,
Yeah.
um I never wanted people to pity me. I knew we are all over the news, but I wanted people to see me as a child and see
Yeah.
me as intellectual individual, and that I can achieve and be proud of myself. Although this pain is hanging on my shoulder and I'm gonna carry it forever. So that's why our star cover Lulu from Khan Yunis,
Yeah.
she's wearing lipstick, carrying her
Ah,
shopping bag,
oh,
putting her hands on her waist and saying, yeah, I
oh,
don't care.
yeah.
This is home. I'm going for a treasure hunt. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. That
And,
resilience
keep being children, and happy and
and resilience,
smiling.
happy and like can't take away my happiness. Yeah. It's
Yes.
I think there's so much in that book. Like I think I'm definitely gonna order my copy because it
Thank
means
you.
really something to me and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I think it's also one that deserves to kind of just yeah, sit there on the
Yeah. And what I maybe always forget to mention, something very important, but it always comes at the end when I talk about this book, that this book is a non-profit book, so all revenues will go to support a charity that works with children in Gaza. And we have a lovely forward from Photo Humanity Grant judge. The book won Photo Humanity Grant for
Oh,
the two
wow.
photographers. Yeah, it's we got it while like they received the like they won the award while we were still making the book. I would like to show you some pages if that's
Yes,
okay.
yeah, please do.
So this is children on Rafah border.
Right.
And they start by saying to us, Ahlan, like welcome. So Rafah border is the border between Gaza and Egypt. I think many people know that already, but it's good to mention it again. And it's been closed for humanitarian aids for years now, a year and almost 2 years now. And it was opened and then closed again. So and now we are facing a famine. So anyway, we modified our logo a little bit. So we have the kufiya
Oh,
uh,
okay.
behind it, just to show that this is a new call for us, a different branding or a different
No, I think, yeah.
way for Sununu to function. And we did mention that this is a non-profit book. And this is the forward from the judge, like from the Photo Humanity Grant. We felt so proud that we could put something
Yeah,
in
that
the book about it. And then these are
so
our two
but the
photographers.
photographers, amazing. So they're based in Gaza, are they?
They are, and they're still alive, thanks goodness. Humam Zaytuniya, 29, and Anas Ayad, 26.
So they emailed
And
us the photo. How did they get the photos to you guys?
so of course, I commissioned them to take photos, and I said I really want photos just for children, and I
Yeah.
wanted them under themes: how they eat, how they go to school, how they love their parents, how, just the daily life. And they did a great job. So this is, you can see the themes
Quality of
throughout
the
the book.
photos and they're so artistic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we could quote quotations, sometimes from United Nations,
Yeah.
sometimes from um, Arabic poetry, from Ghassan Kanafani and Amal Dunqul. And you can see here the theme is water. So you don't need someone to tell you it is. Like you can kiss it as as a reader. Then you see food, the struggle to build a fire to cook food because there were no electricity for years.
Yeah.
And then while I was like trying to, like while I was working with Anas and Humam, I felt I'm lacking a mom element,
Yes.
a mother who documenting her daily life. So then I commissioned Sabrina Al-Baz with her. She documented her exile with her three daughters.
Wow.
Jihad here on the left side, five, Mariam in the middle, two, and Sidal, three. So a mom just narrowly escaping death with three girls under the age of 6, documenting her exile from Deir el-Balah to Khan Yunis to Nusayrat school to Nusayrat beach camp, She's
Yeah.
still there, she's still alive, thanks goodness. And she just sent me a photo of her girls wearing Eid clothes.
Yeah.
And then just 2 days after, or the same day at the evening, that school they were sheltering in was bombed. So
Gosh.
it was just like catastrophic.
Yeah.
We also wanted to document for the man-made famine. And we didn't want to put a picture of a child, dying of hunger.
Yes.
So we inquired the same brilliant artist who created our book cover. So she created this artwork to based on a real photograph of a child who was like dying from hunger. I
Wow.
want to show you the original artwork. I have it here with me. This second.
Yeah.
Um, so it's the artwork. You
Oh,
can see
wow.
how it's like 3D, not 3D, 2D, sorry, that's the right term. But it feels so alive, it's so powerful and so
Beautiful.
heartbreaking in
Yeah.
a way. But it's still art, and art speaks really
Art
strong.
speaks volumes, and it's their stories are so moving, and I really hope that, I hope things change for the better. And there is peace, and I
Yes. I'm
think
going to show you as well how we I was very angry when I was making this
Yes.
book, and I was like, how dare they?
Yeah, I mean, it must have
Uh,
been a lot of emotions for you to be holding as well,
yeah,
like whilst doing.
yeah, how dare they justify bombing a school, bombing a hospital? You know, a politician will justify whatever suits them, and
Yeah,
they will use good call to make a bad decision, you know. So, and also Meta was complicit with hiding the truth and not educating people of the reality of what's happening. So I
yeah,
was so angry when every time I shared a story, Meta will go and cover it with have you seen the screen that says sensitive content? Don't
yes, yeah,
yeah, so I felt like I need to document for this because 10 years from now, I don't know what will the new generation be seeing,
yeah.
but I wanted
I
to
guess it's all
document
about
this.
freedom of expression, and then
Yeah, so it's just this question, what is it
yeah,
that hiding behind the screen? What this horrible thing that we should not, as an adult, see? And they should decide to us what is sensitive and what's not. So we created this effect to show what are they hiding? The
what are they
truth,
thinking?
the innocent, the love. She even has a shirt that says love in it,
Yeah,
you know. So yeah. So
yeah.
we did create some elements
In so
just
much thought into this book.
yeah.
It's just really captured the range of emotions
Mm.
that the children must be going through. Um,
And we wanted to end with hope. So we have this photo and my our photo curator, who's basically your other author, you know, because
yes,
the photo
yeah,
curator does all the layout and decide what size each photo should be or which side of the page they should appear in.
yeah,
So our photo curator, Majid Langawi, he said, yes, hope is fine, but then we're still in Rafah border. So he said this should be our our closure, you know, and
yeah.
the last message we want to say is this is you love this one. This is the very last photograph, I think. Where is it? Oh yeah, this one and this one. I think the last this and yeah, this he said, free Palestine. There is a hope with this photo of this young lad looking up to the sky, and then,
Wow. Yeah,
but reality is still on Rafah border. So I
yeah.
think that was our last three messages. Then we have the captions. I think this is my favorite part of the book because it
Is
does
that like
tell
the bibliography or like or
exactly. It tells the readers all the little stories I've been telling you now about the photographs and where they've been taking and what's the story behind them.
sorry,
And it, without this part of the book, because it does give the readers an insight on each photo, where it's been taken and what's the story behind it. And the idea was is not to disturb the actual artwork with information. And we wanted people to look at the photo, go back to it, read about it, and then flick through and go back to find that photo. It just builds a memory and a
like
relation.
museums where you're just enjoying the artwork and you're not being distracted by the captions, but then you can read all the captions at the end because you do want to know the story. So it's a
Yes,
really
yes, exactly.
great finishing
Uh,
time.
we're hoping that we will have one day an exhibition to exhibit with all these
Yeah,
photographs and
yeah.
then have a book signing go along with it.
So
Just
that's
we're
so
trying to explore who can partner with us and who would love to host us as well. Speaking of partners, when we launched the book on Frankfurt Book Fair this year, we met the Irish Press Pages, an Irish publisher who published Avishlam, an Israeli Arab Jew author um, who's against the genocide, of course. So he wrote this book
yeah. Inside in
about it.
Gaza. Okay.
Yes, and we partnered with them. They acquired rights for photographs from our books, so you can see them. It's nice also to see them in a smaller but well done scale, like smaller scale but done in a nice way. So there is a forward about the book, and there is these photographs from the book as well.
Oh, it's so
So
pretty. Yeah.
it's nice to
Nice
see
to
it
get
in
this
an
really
academic book
connected as
as
well.
well.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
recognize this one.
Oh, that's
So this book's just been released like 8 weeks ago or
that's it.
something like
Okay. I
that.
think
Yeah.
I saw a peek
I
of it.
think it's gonna be in
Yeah.
second print
Oh,
soon.
good.
So
Okay.
it's really,
Great.
really
Really popular. Okay.
must to have
Yeah.
because it does document it from an academic point of view. And I think it's great because every publisher, every author done their own way, the one who wrote chapter books or picture books or photography or academic book. I think it is very important to have that variety, and it will enrich, the narrative and
Yeah.
create more awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. And more conversations and it's living history, right? Right now. So
Yes.
um we're very much seeing it with the lens of we don't know what's coming next, but this is what
Mm,
happened, and it's a way to influence, I guess, the history that will be told, but which I hope will be, one that's that offers a better future for the Palestinian people. Um, but it's beautiful, and I think I'm definitely going to be ordering that straight away. I think
thank
it's something
you.
I really want as part of my own, coffee table collection. So, and I'll put the link in for anyone else who might want a copy as well. So, I think thank you so much for sharing that. I think that must have been quite a difficult thing to share. So, um, I really appreciate you taking the time and telling the story. Thank you so much, Fida, for coming on today. It was such a pleasure to have you, and it was so wonderful to learn about your story and all the incredible things that you've been doing in this space and bringing, children's literature to the Arabic world, but also vice versa, bringing the Arabic cultures and values to English-speaking readers. So it's wonderful to see the incredible contribution you've made in this space. And, I'd love for more people to be able to read your work. It's so valuable, I feel. So, it'd be really helpful if you could just share where people can find you, where they can get access to these books, where they can follow you on your social media channels.
Thank you so much for having me today and introducing me to your audience. I am so excited, and I really hope that they will enjoy this recording and this interview. They can find our books on our website, sunono.scot, or they can order it from any channel, like especially the Gaza book. It's on a pre-order now on Books to Door, Made, and Waterstone, H.W. Smith. It is so nice to see that they all have it online, as for people to order it. And I would like for them to explore all the choices because bigger distributors can offer them free delivery and good deals. So if they did not purchase it straight from our website, they can purchase it through these channels. Um, what else I can say? And social media. I would love for people to follow us on social media, at Sunono Publish. They will see the swallow bird, and I think they will recognize us. And we are on Facebook as well. We're not yet on TikTok, but we are working on that. Yes, yeah. So we're Facebook, X, and Instagram. I think it's more interactive on Instagram because people can see the book and have a conversation. Like it feels like
Yeah,
Instagram is easy as well
it is.
for
And I think a lot of readers,
books.
you can find them on Instagram. So it's a good place to reach out and collaborate as well. That's great. I'm going to put all the show links into the show notes and all the links to your books into the show notes, and your social media channels as well. And you mentioned that the Gaza I Spy books on pre-order. So
Yes,
when is
the
that?
original publication, sorry, you carry on, ask question, sorry.
Yeah, no, when is the pu actual publishing date?
So the actual actual publication is on the 1st of July. Of course, the book is available to ship directly from our website. That will be like an advantage. But with our distributors and all the logistics, I think each one um, on each website they will find when they gonna start shipping. So I think I encourage people to explore all the channels and use what suits them.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes, exactly, because some of them might benefit from a pre-order discount or something.
exactly, or membership or anything, which is really cool. We just
Or
want the book to be there.
right?
Yeah,
All the proceeds go to charity, which is wonderful.
that's correct. Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Feda, for sharing. And I really hope people enjoy our conversation today. Do tell us what you think. Do share your thoughts. We always love hearing from people. So excited to hear from everyone. Thanks, Feda. Have a great Easter weekend.
Thanks, and you too, and for everybody. Thank you.